Hey, what is up, guys? It is your boy, Kingdom Soldier, and I'm back again with another commentary. Welcome to the Kingdom Story, episode 12. So in the previous episode, I got kicked out of college at the end. But I missed what probably was the most pivotal and important summer of my entire life. I just completely left it out, and I can't leave it out because it is the summer in which I met the most beautiful woman that I've ever met. The woman that I've spent the last almost 17 years of my life with, that I've been married to for 13 years. And I can't leave that out because it actually is kind of an interesting story on how the two of us met each other. So after my first year of college, I had broken up with all the girls that I had messed around with and stuff. And I went home. And when I went home, one of the first things I did, like the day after I got home, I went to a birthday party at a place called Shenanigans down on the waterfront for my distant acquaintance named Joe. But he was friends with my friend Alfredo and some people that I was friends with. And they invited me and my brother just to show up. We were both home from college. They invited us to just go. So we said, whatever. We ain't got nothing else to do. We want to go out and have fun. And I'm sitting at the table, and I look over, and I had to do a double, a triple, and then just a stare. When I caught what was nothing but just fineness personified. And I remember to this day, my wife was wearing, she wasn't my wife at the time, she was wearing, this girl, we'll just say, we'll go in context. This girl was wearing a red dress with flowers on it. Her hair was dark brown. It was dyed dark brown, and she had like a little blonde streak or like a little highlight. It was short, and her eyes were this beautiful hazel that I didn't know at the time were actually her eyes. I mean, her eyes are so beautiful. Like when I look at my wife's eyes, especially in the sun, her eyes are so beautiful you would be convinced she was wearing contacts. So I thought she was wearing contacts. And I'm just I catch myself staring at her. And my friend Alfredo kind of nudges me. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, bro, who is that? And he said it like it was nothing, you know, because he had known her. I didn't know her. He was like, that's Tanya. And I'm like, is she Joe's girlfriend? And he's like, no, they're just best friends. And I was like, oh. Yes. Now, it's important that I rewind briefly to tell you why I was actually interested, because in my former life, girls of her caliber, I wouldn't even, like my wife, when she goes out now, she always tells me like no one flirts with her or anything like that. And I'm like, that's because they're intimidated. Like, you know, and I'm not blowing up my head or my wife's head, but I don't really care. You know, my wife's beautiful. And I tell her it's because they're intimidated. They literally don't think that they can talk to you. They think you're out of their league, which normally I would have thought when I first met her. But in my freshman year of college, I remember maybe the second week, I saw who everyone on my campus, all the dudes on my campus, deemed as one of the two finest women on the entire college campus. One of the two. And I don't remember her name, to be honest with you. She kind of was reminiscent of like, well, I don't even want to tell you because then you'll think of her different. But basically, this girl was just amazingly beautiful. And I actually got to engage with her a little bit. So I actually kind of liked her a little. Like I actually wanted to get to know her and not just like looking at her in like a lustful way. Like, oh, I just like how she looks and her shape. And no, it was like, you know, I actually like this girl. And, you know, if I wasn't so shy, I would talk to her. Yes, that's right. Former gang member, but didn't want to talk to this girl. And so I didn't talk to her at all. I just kind of left her alone for the whole year. All the breaks and everything. And then towards the end of my freshman year, I was talking to her friend Summer. And Summer had stolen minutes from my mom's calling card. We're not going to even go into what that is because a lot of you don't know. But she had stolen minutes off my mom's calling card, and we're talking about it. And she said it was an accident. And Summer was like, hey, I want to ask you something. I said, what? She was like, you know my best friend? I was like, yeah, of course I know her. She was like, well, what do you think of her? I was like, I mean, she's beautiful, and I liked her for a long time. You know, I felt like at this point into the school year, who cares? I just throw that information out. And I was pretty sure she was seeing somebody at the time, and I just said, you know, I liked her for most of the year. And Summer was like, Well, she liked you too. Wait. Did you just say she liked me? And she was like, yeah, she actually liked you for a long time. That's why she didn't date anybody, because she was hoping you were going to talk to her. No! I wanted to break stuff. I was so upset. I was so frustrated. But in that moment, now, here's the funny thing. I called her anyway. Like that night, I called her on the phone and I said, hey, so I talked to Summer and she said that you liked me all year. Is that true? And she's like, yeah, I thought you were cute and I wanted to, you know, get to know you more, but I wasn't going to make the move. I wanted you to talk to me. And I'm like, Anthony! I was so mad at myself. So we talked on the phone for a little bit. Came down to it. She was dating this guy. And he was a guy that actually was in like kind of like an organization with me on campus. And I wasn't going to step in his, you know, territory and all that. So I just let it go. Mad at myself, but I let it go. And so when I saw Tanya sitting down at this table, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to doubt that that's a girl that I can pull. And I'm just going to holler at her. I don't really care. You know, and I might have been a little more arrogant and stuff at that time. You know, I was kind of on cloud nine still from this girl, the second finest or the one or two finest girl in the school liking me. I was like, you know, this is great. I mean, this, you know, I got all the confidence in the world. So we end the party and everybody's like, all right, we're going to go home. And I'm like, whoa. The night is young. Why don't we go do something and hang out? You know, a couple of us, not all of us. So about 6 of us. My brother ended up going home, but about 6 of us went to this place called Jillian's and played some pool and hung out. And then Jillian's closed. I think it was at, I want to say 12 o'clock. And when Jillian's closed, I was like, whoa. The night is young. Because I was trying to holler at this girl, and Joe would not leave her alone. This is a theme alert. Joe would not leave her alone. And he just literally was on her side 24/7. And they were best friends. And he didn't have feelings for her or anything. Like, I've learned that later on. He did not want her at all. I thought he did, but he didn't. He just didn't want to lose her as a friend. And so he just stuck to her. And I'm like, well, you guys want to do anything else? And Tanya says, we could go to my house. I'm like, yes, I like that idea. Let's go to Tanya's house. And she says, my mom's not home. Oh, let's do it. But Joe says, no, it's kind of late, and I got to talk to you anyway, Tanya. I'm going to take, you know, so we all split. 2 days later, I can't resist. I hadn't hung out with Joe. Me and Joe weren't friends. We weren't boys. We weren't nothing. But I called Joe on the phone. I got his number from Alfredo. I called Joe. Hey, what's up, Joe? What's up? How you doing? Just chilling with Tanya. Oh, really? So, I don't have a car, but I'm kind of hungry. If you guys bring me some McDonald's, I'll pay for yours. You know, I'll pay you back. I'll give you the money for yours and Tanya's. And I hear Tanya in the background say, I want to go. And at that moment, I was like, she's interested. Now, I didn't really know, but I just thought, because she was in the background, she might have just wanted some free McDonald's, whatever. They both came over, we hung out, we talked. I remember that was the first time my mom met her. And when my mom met her, because my mom came home and she was in the kitchen, my mom thought that, she thought that Tanya was like 25, and I was 19 at the time. And so my mom is tripping. Oh, I might have been still 18. So my mom was tripping like, how old was that girl that was here? I was like, oh, she's my age. We were the same age. We graduated at the same time. And she's like, oh, okay. And what I didn't tell you guys is that Joe had driven like almost 30 minutes from his house to get me McDonald's, because basically, you know, him and Tanya came over. The day after that, my friend Arnie calls me and he's like, hey, what's up? I'm like, yo, he's like, you know, some people are going to come over and we're going to go clamming. Do you want to come? I was like, and I remember that when I went clamming in Alaska and I was digging for clams, I cut my hand open and all this blood was spilling out and it hurt really bad, like flesh was hanging off. And so I didn't want to do that again. And so I said, you know, nah, Arnie, I'm probably just going to chill at the house, play some video games or whatever. I was like, well, who's coming? And he was like, Joe, Fredo, Nate, Tanya. I was like, what? He said Tanya? He's like, yeah. I was like, well, looks like some space is cleared up in my calendar. So I went over there. I remember to this day, she was wearing a brown little sweater with some sandals and some really short shorts. One of my favorite days. And it was that day that we started flirting with each other, and it became obvious that we were both kind of interested in each other. To this day, she tries to deny the fact that she was interested in me from when she first met me. She tries to act like my pursuit is what made her like me, but that's not true. Because she also told me that day, that one of the days she was at my house, when she heard that day that she came over to McDonald's, my ex-girlfriend's sister, I think, had called or something looking for her sister, and my current wife thought that I had already had a girlfriend and she was jealous or whatever. She admitted that, so we liked each other. And I think it was that weekend, we went over to my friend Alfredo's house, and I hung out with her the whole night, you know, and I thought I was the coolest thing. I had my little Yankees fitted cap on, and I had my big old chain because that was popular back then, and some Timbs and some huge baggy jeans, and I was just chilling, you know, because I had been almost on the East Coast. I had been in East Coast culture for a minute, and I used to wear Timbs. That's all I would wear. And so I hung out with her the whole night. We just, you know, hollered and stuff and had a couple drinks, and then we went out in the pool room where my friend Alfredo has a bed. And we're laying on the bed just talking, and there's other people in there playing pool, and then everybody leaves. And somebody, when they left, cut the light off. And so we're just sitting there in the dark on the bed, and we hadn't kissed or anything. Like, we literally had just been almost in the flirting stage, like we like each other stage. And I look over and I'm like, and we're just talking, blah, 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 blah. So I just go for it. And I turn and I lean in to kiss her. And she literally was looking at me, but she turns her face and just starts laughing in my face. Like, and I'm sitting there like, what is so funny? And she's like, you're funny. And she just keeps laughing. And I'm like, so you really just gonna leave me hanging over here? Like, and she just keeps laughing. And then she gets up out of the bed. So I get up. And I'm like, you want to go back inside? She's like, sure. I didn't know what to think at this moment. I still to this day, maybe if you see this, Tanya, if you can explain to me, I still to this day don't know why you laughed and we didn't end up kissing that day. We did end up kissing later in the summer. We hung out and we made the decision at some point that we were going to be boyfriend and girlfriend. And although all of my friends said that was a bad decision, they were like, why are you getting a girlfriend? You're going back to college in like 3 weeks. You know, like, why would you get a girlfriend? Whatever, I got a girlfriend. And while I was gone, it was difficult. I remember one occasion where she called me in October. I was at my grandfather's house because I had taken a bus from my college in Ohio to my grandfather's house in North Carolina, and I was at my grandfather's house, and she called me, and she tried to break up with me, and I asked her, I was like, what is going on? Like, why are you trying to break up with me, blah, 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 and she said that Joe thought it would be a good idea. So this is where Captain Save-A-Joe, I kind of realized that he was a blocker, you know, and that he was trying to block me because he didn't want to lose his friend. And he was telling her, I think, he was telling her all kinds of stuff about me and about the type of person I was and that I was not good news for her, blah, 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 blah. So this is when me and Joe actually, I started not liking him as a result. And I basically told her, no, you're not breaking up with me. I mean, I was stubborn. I was like, no, we're not breaking up. We're not breaking up over the phone. If you want to break up, when I get back in town, we can talk about it, but we're not breaking up. And the funniest thing is that this was the December of 1999. I know that's a long time ago. December of 1999, I went home from college, and we turned almost breaking up into falling in love and deciding I want to spend as much time with you as possible. And that was one of the best Decembers and Christmas times I've ever had. I remember there is a locket that I have that I wish I could show to you guys. Maybe I'll show you a picture of it because I know she has it upstairs. But there's a locket that I gave her that December of me and her. If you want to see what Kingdom looked like when he was 18 or 19, when I was 19, there's a locket of me and her that I gave her that December that she still has to this day. It's a heart, and you open it up and it has a picture of both of us. Getting the picture of both of us in this locket was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. But that December was amazing, and of course, I went back to school that January, that winter, and that was when I ended up getting kicked out of school, unfortunately. I came home, and the rest is history. You know, we've got 3 kids now. You guys are going to hear about this later, because every single one of them was a miracle. We weren't supposed to have kids, but we've got 3 kids, James, Jacob, and Evan. And this year that we're in right now, 2016, was probably the best and most productive year of our lives. And if you guys want to see Tanya maybe come on the channel and talk about this year, just let me know in the comments, and I'll have her come on, and me and her can talk about why this year has been so amazing. But it has just been a phenomenal year, and I'm glad that I'm ending it back on YouTube. This is your boy Kingdom Soldier, and I will see you guys in the next episode of The Kingdom Story. Peace.